Hi there, welcome to this build of a 40-inch wingspan Keil Kraft Gypsy. Now this is a lovely design by Bill Dean from 1949. Started building it from a Ripmax kit which I had some problems with. Ended up downloading the plans from the AutoZone website. So if you want a copy of the plans, have a look in the description below this video and there'll be a link to those free plans on AutoZone and you can download them. Now, we've got to the point where I'm feeling really excited about getting this finished. You can see in the last video we got this covered and I went for the nice bold black fuselage and I'm really pleased with how the covering went on that. Went on really nice. And of course all of the tissue is over 38 micron laminating film, and we've got the wings here we did a few videos ago and the tail assembly, and now there's only one thing left to do, one video left before we actually start launching this into the air, and that is to get this essentially airfield ready. And we've got a container full of bits here, screws, servos, wheels, and basically all we've got to do is set this up now. And just to kind of recap, I suppose, there's two servos going to go in this, so I suppose we'd call it two channel. It's rudder, so we have a rudder on the back, we have no elevator, so we have the rudder, and we also have a dethermalizer, and that's going to be operated by a servo. I could have put a dethermalizer in it, but because I was already putting the radio gear in, and it's lightweight stuff, because I was already putting that in, it was so much easier and probably about the same weight as putting a dethermalizer in. So it was a kind of a no-brainer for me really to do that. So what have we got to do? We've got to get the radio gear in, we've got to get a push-pull mechanism connected up for the rudder, and we've got the holes in the back here. I've got a servo which I've actually mounted on a little bit of a tray inside here so we can tension those cables. We can actually slide the servo forward and backwards by, I think, because it's a while since I've done this, but I think it's about 6 mil, something like that, just a little bit, to be able to put a bit of tension on them if we need it. Now I think that's it really. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I've got some dowels to put in. I've got the dowel here for the wings to glue. We've got a dowel for the elastic bands for the dethermalizer. So what I'm going to do is get these servos in first, get the dethermalizer working, and we'll come back and have a look at that. Actually, just one final thing from a practical point of view. You can see I'm working on a towel that I've got on the bench, just a cheap cotton towel, and I find it so useful for when I'm doing stuff like this where I don't want to damage the fuselage, whether it's something I've just sanded or whether it's a covered fuselage like this, because I am going to have to turn it upside down, move it around, and there's the cutting mats, there's little bits of glue and stuff on there, so it's much safer on a towel, and also it stops it sliding around quite so much, which is also a real benefit. So let's get on with this. Right, I thought it was worth having a quick update and just showing you I've got the servo in there, and as I said, that would just move forward and backwards, only a small amount, just enough to tension the cables for the push-pull. Got the servo in there for the dethermalizer, and that will just have the dethermalizer hooked on it like that, elastic band probably, and then the servo will just rotate and that will come off. Really simple, and we've got a little hatch to go in there just to cover that. Now I've done the leads from the servo, this is just fishing trace, and these will go down to the tail for the rudder. Now I've got to get these cables threaded through the holes there and out the back of the fuselage, which is no easy feat unless you've got something like this. This is an internal piece of plastic from a snake, like a control snake. So this is the bit that goes to the servos rather than the outer sheath. And I use these all the time for jobs like this. So all I'm going to do is just push that into one of the holes and it will come down here, and there we go. Look, we've got that pulled through now, and if I just get a little bit of tape, and I mean I don't really need to show you this, you can imagine what happens next, but we'll do it anyway because I've got to do it. So we'll just tape the cable onto the snake like that, and then just doing it very quickly, hopefully it won't come off. There we go. And now we've got the one cable threaded through already. So it's really just, I find these really useful, whether it's for servo cables in wings or anything like that. So always worth having a spare one of those. Right, I'll carry on and get this done. Okay, well I've got the cables connected to the servo there, and the servo's as far rearward as possible, so we can always move it forward to tension it. And I've just got the cables pushed through the control horn here, and I just had a go with it, and I was quite excited to get it working, and I thought we'd just have a quick look at it before I've still got these to fix permanently here, but this is the first time I've had it working with the cables. I'm really excited to see that working, and it's really nice and smooth, and we got lots of travel on that rudder, which we will no doubt need. So I'll carry on and get this done, but I just wanted to share that with you because I was quite excited to get it working. Right, well, another quick update. I think I've got the dethermalizer done now. I've got the rudder connected, and that's all finished. They're fastened on there with some crimps, and that's both sides, and that works really well. And I did tension it just a little bit. It's quite hard to get these crimps on here and get the tension right, so being able to move it, I only moved it about, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 mil, just to add a little bit, and that worked really well. So now that rudder works, as you saw before, I won't bother showing you again. And I've got the servo on the underside just here with an elastic band on it to operate the dethermalizer. And when that, let's just have a look, when that turns round, you'll see the dethermalizer go. There we go. And that's how it operates. And I can just reset it again by pulling the cord to reset that tail. Now I'm threading the electronics through the cables, and this is proving interesting because we've got a rubber motor that goes all the way down the fuselage to a peg here, and we need to make sure that there's no cables hanging down in the way that are going to get caught on that motor. We've also got an issue that it's not an issue, but we're having the battery, which is this small, it's a 2/3 AAA battery, so it's quite a small battery, and that is going to go on Velcro on the inside of the nose about that location there, and that will be out of the way of the rubber motor as well. But I'm having to thread a cable here. I'm threading it down the nose, and before I covered this and built the fuselage, I put some little bits of balsas that I had to thread the cable under to keep it low down in the fuselage. And I think this is going to be a difficult ask, but I'll try and just show you where the cable is going. I don't know whether, because it's all dark in there, I don't know whether that will show up at all. But the cable goes down the nose, and then from here, if I turn this round, we can see it goes under a piece of wood there, and then it goes up the fuselage, and we can see the cables here, just there, just wrapping under a piece of balsa again, keeping them away from the centre of the fuselage, and they're coming up in to the top here where they're going to attach to the radio. Now if I look down there, you can hopefully see, I tell you what, this might help. You can hopefully see, we've got some light, that there's no cables hanging down there. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We're threading tricky cables, but I mean the good thing about this is it was all designed to be able to do that before the covering was on, so I knew exactly where everything was going to go to keep it out of the way. I'm not trying to retrofit it, I suppose. So I will get on. I'm going to put this battery on a piece of Velcro just roughly in the nose, and then we can adjust it. And I've got these really long forceps which are really useful for this kind of work, and that will just be able to put the battery in the nose and push it down onto the Velcro. So let's get this thing finished. Okay, and you can see from the smile on my face, this is finished now. The only thing I've got to do is just tidy up a couple of the cables, but we can see we've got the rubber motor in, and I haven't wound this up or put any pressure on it, so but it's working nicely, and it's out the way of the electronics and the cables. You can hopefully see it just nestling down at the bottom there, minding its own business. And the electronics, I haven't incorporated a switch from the battery to the radio, so I've just got a couple of leads, and I just need to plug those in and then tuck them into the fuselage. I know it's a little bit awkward in a way because it means that we have to take the wings off to switch it on and off, but I just didn't want to add the weight. I think this thing is going to be heavy anyway, probably because of the timber, the wood that was in the original Ripmax kit. If you saw those early videos when we started out with this and we had a look at the kit, some of the wing roots, for example, was a bit like plywood. So anyway, it is what it is, and we've made the best of it. And that's one of the things I like best about building from plans, is that you can choose your own timber. The timber was quite hard on the ribs for the tail. I'd have liked to have chosen softer timber, but anyway. So we've got the rudder working. Hopefully, have I just put the ring in the way of that? Let's turn it around this way. There we go. We've got the rudder working, and we've got dual rates. And I've also got the dethermalizer onto a switch on the radio, so if we flick that, the tail will shoot up and it will cause it to come down gently. That's the plan. There we go. So now if it's up in a thermal, it's stuck up there, we want to bring it down, it's going off site, we can just do that, and it should float down nice and easy. So let me just put that back on there, and like I said earlier, I could have put an electronic dethermalizer on, which would have been off a separate device, but it would have just created more hassle for no weight saving. Talking about weight saving, let's see what the weight is on this. So if we tear the scales, and we've got 337 grams. So that's a little bit heavier than I would have liked, 337 grams. I suppose we have got a battery, we have got, this is all up weight with the motor and everything. We've got a battery, we've got the radio gear. I mean, the servos are only 3.7 grams, so they are quite small. The timber, that will have added up. 337 grams, well, it is what it is. It doesn't feel heavy, so hopefully that will be fine. But the only way to really find out is to get this bird in the air and test it out. Now the CG on this seems to be perfect with where I put the battery just as a first off, and if I go to the points there, I think that there is the CG. Oh, my fingers just slid forward a little bit there. There, that is the CG point. So that to me seems pretty good, I think. I mean, there's only one way to tell, and that's to get this thing out and try it out and see how it glides. And that will be the thing that we're going to do next. I'm going to pull this video to a close now, because essentially this is finished and we need to get out in the field when we have some good weather. We've had some very windy weather lately, so I will wait for a nice, I was going to say a calm day, but maybe a little bit of a gentle breeze will be beneficial. So we'll get out, we'll have a go gliding this and see how the trim works. It might be we need to trim the tail a little bit, we might need to alter the CG, but I'm pleased with how that's looking. So anyway, I hope you like how it's turned out, the covering, the procedures, everything we've put together to bring this lovely Keil Kraft Gypsy together. And so thanks very much for watching, and please come back and see how we get on out in the field. My favourite site with a little bit of long grass, so it's not too bumpy if it suddenly goes nose in. I'm not going to take it to the airfield, so I'll take it somewhere else. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please come back and see how we get on.